Okay, so here's a quick video on how to change out a flat tire if you do get one on the road. I'll go with the back tire since it's the more difficult of the two. You just want to make sure that you remember what cog you are, what cog you're in the back. On this one I'm in the fourth one in. And it doesn't really make any difference. You just want to make sure that you put it in the same place when you return it. So. Just want to release the lever, and then you're going to release your brakes right here. Alright. You just want to loosen this up a little bit. You don't have to take it all off. And then it should just pop right out. Just like that. See if I can move that around. Alright. Pops right out. And you just slide it out. And you just want to gently put it. Okay, so let's get started. We'll go ahead and make this tire flat. Get all the air out of it, just in case. Okay. So in your saddlebag you should have a couple different tools. You want to have tire levers. Try to get 3 of them if you need to. And you're going to get your CO2. You're going to get your CO2 valve and your CO2 cartridge. And then you're going to have a tube. Alright, so go ahead and get started with this. And I usually start away from the stem, so if your stem's right here, I just start up here. And all you're going to want to do is pry one of these like that and then lock it under the spoke. Then you'll get a second one. Anyway, get 2 of them just like that. Makes it a lot easier to come off. You can see that okay. And then you want to take your 3rd one and just kind of pry it all the way around, just to get everything started. It's a pretty easy process. Just go around like that. So now you have everything off on one side. Okay, so next we need to take off the tube, the bad tube. Alright, pretty easy. Just slides right out. Should be a little hole right inside the tape there. And you take the new tube and we put that on the back on the rim. Since this one's not really flat, I'm just going to reuse it. And the process is the same. Actually, the process is not exactly the same. We need to put a little bit of air in there. Just enough for it to take form, just like that. Okay. And we just fit that around like so. The last part that's probably the most challenging is to put the tire bead back around the rim. And the way I do that is I start at the part, the side where the valve is. And we just do it at the same time all the way around. last part, I take out a little bit of air, just to give me a little bit more room to work with. And sometimes this is really tight, and sometimes it's not so bad. This tire is actually a piece of cake. So there you go. You've got the tire and the tube back on the rim. So you just want to do a quick little spot check and look at both sides of the tire and make sure you don't have any tube sticking out. So go left, right, just like that. Okay, piece of cake. Alright, so for the CO2, this needs to be stored upside down, or you puncture it, put it in right side up. Once you turn this all the way down, it punctures the seal so it's live. And typically I just put a little bit of air in there so I can kind of spot check it. Alright. So I don't know, that's maybe 60 pounds of air in there. And then we do the same process. So probably the quickest way, start right at the valve, go front, back, just make sure there's no tube poking out of the sidewall, or you'll have another flat down the road. Then you just want to put as much air as you need to back into the tube. And it goes in quick. I mean, it's not any more than that, right? So I've got pretty much a fully inflated tube. Can't really tell what the PSI is at that point, but just from riding, you kind of know what it should feel like. And this thing gets so cold, sometimes it gets stuck on the stem. You have to yank it off a little bit. But anyway, got a fully inflated tire, and this should be enough to at least get you done with your race, or done for the day, back home, or whatever. Anyway, that's how you put it back on. Now let's go ahead and put it back on the bike. Okay, so we're back at the bike, and we want to put the tire back on, so we just reverse the steps that we took before. And if you remember, we were on the fourth cog in the back. So you just want to line it up right there. And as you can see, everything's pretty much spring loaded, so once you line up the cog right here in the back, everything right here, it's spring loaded, so you just give it a little bit of pressure and it fits right into the bracket. And you just want to make sure that the top of the skewer on each side is snug up against the frame. So you can push on the frame a little bit just to make sure it's in there, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So you just want to just tighten this a couple turns. So it doesn't need to be too tight, just but snug. Not loose. Press it in there with a good amount of pressure. All right, so that's back on, and then don't forget your brakes. Put those back on. Just giving them a little bit of a turn. All right. Everything's nice and smooth, so you're good to go. And that's how you change a tire.